Hi there, my name is Josh Bansel. I am a career firefighter with the Wisconsin Rapids Fire Department, as well as a volunteer on the Port Edwards Fire Department. Today I'm at the Village of Port Edwards Fire Department, just going to run through real basic motor pump operations, utilizing our, not necessarily our primary hydranted truck, but it's one that we often will take outside of the village, specifically when we're dealing with non-hydranted areas, which is quite a bit of our area. We have a large rural response, along with mutual aid partners that ask us to use, truck with tanking capabilities. So this truck, this is our newest one out of our fleet. We do have 3 engines here. This particular one has a 2,000 gallon water capacity with a 1,750 gallon per minute pump. Basically, in order for us to max out the capacity of this pump, we need to run from at least 2 out of the 3 intakes. We do have another intake on the complete opposite side of this truck, as well as one directly off the front here. But to get this truck to give you water at the end of the hose, which basically is really all we need when we're trying to get wet stuff on the red stuff, is with this particular truck, obviously before we have to engage the pump, it has to be in neutral. So put the truck in neutral, pull the parking brake. With this particular truck, we have a compressed air foam system on it with a separate compressor. This compressor needs to be engaged prior to us putting our pump into gear as well. If you do it in the opposite direction, if you put the pump before you put the caps in, it gives a horrendous noise. Sounds like it's going to explode. We just try to avoid that at all costs. And the common practice that we like to utilize here is, really, if we're going to use CAFs, or if we're not going to use CAFs, we're just going to put it into gear anyways. That way we have that option should we decide, through the progression of whatever we're choosing to fight, that, if we want that option, we have it. We can always not utilize it with it being on. It makes no difference whatsoever in effect, and does not have any effect on regular water flow. So with that in mind, obviously truck is going to be parking brake set. Both of these levers coming down signify they're ready to rock. Obviously, if the truck was on, it'd be much louder, not able to talk over it, but the green lights would show you that it's okay to pump. If this were a scenario outside with the truck running, wheel chocks would be in place to prevent this truck from moving anywhere forward. And then we come to the beautiful lighted panel. So let's just say we're rolling up on something, we want to make a quick hit on it. Right here, tank to pump, pulling that guy right away. We're getting that water from in there. 2,000 gallons that we have ready to rock is going right to our pump. And then we have our, any one of our pre-connects here. Obviously, we've got 2 inch and 3/4 hand line capabilities that can deploy from either side, plus a 2.5. Off the front here, we have a trash line as well. That's only got 100 feet of hose on it, but we've utilized that for, just say rural car fires where we know we don't have to necessarily peel apart the car with any extrication tools. We're gonna go ahead and use that just for, 1, all the water that we get behind it. 2, it's the fastest and easiest line to deploy that we have. With that in mind, obviously with having 2,000 gallons, which is a significant amount of water, we're gonna kind of watch our meter here directly behind me. Make sure that we're not gonna run this pump dry. Obviously, when you run it down below, a lot of guys like to run that fine line of running it right down to nothing. I get a little nervous when it gets below 1/4 of a tank. You get it below that 1/4 of a tank, you're going to be really losing some capabilities, especially when it comes to drafting. Now, if this were to be, if we ran this tank out and we didn't have a hydrant to source, we're going to need to utilize our intakes, and hopefully a drop tank if one of our mutual aid partners kind of shows up in a timely fashion. We got to make sure that we have enough water to be able to flow that if there were to be any issues, especially if we were needing to use like a jet siphon, if we're just having that hard time of drawing that water. But with that in mind, we just have to be mindful of what we have for water, what we have coming. Obviously it's all that really kind of comes down to the operational side of things at that particular point. But all in all, that's your quick and dirty way of getting water to the end of a hose.